Hey everyone, it's Pup Vesi. I'm here today with Pup Twigz. We're flipping the script today. This is a little bit different. Um, Previously, I was a guest on his podcast, and I had such a great time, and he's gonna have a hard time trying to get rid of me now. But we're gonna do things a little bit different today. So I'm gonna sit here and I'm going to interview him with the same exact questions that he asked me. Because being 60, 70 some episodes deep in your podcast, you've never had anyone interview you, right?
No one so far. You're the first.
So, yeah, I guess we could just jump right into it. So, I notice every single time that I've talked to you for your puppyhood, typically you've got um, like the strap in the back with the muzzle. I noticed this time your muzzle is a little bit different than the last time. And typically you're wearing a hat.
Well, yeah, because I'm don't have a lot of hair, so I wear a hat. But
I
yeah,
didn't know if it was part of your aesthetic or not.
oh, it is. I wear a hat every time I go out. So, well,
So
no,
yeah,
I mean,
tell me a little bit about your puppy name Twigs, and a little bit about just the overall design and the colors and the muzzles, and tell me all
all
about
right.
it.
So I started out the cheap way, like a lot of us do, and bought a full hood on Amazon.
Mhm.
There's no way in Florida I could deal with the heat and a hood, so I went with a muzzle. And I do interchange my muzzle periodically based on, maybe sometimes what I'm wearing. Sometimes it's just I want to be a different color and everything because this is so much more. I'm able to breathe with this than I was in a full hood, especially in Florida.
Mhm.
With Twigs, without giving away too much, it's based on my last name. I have a last name that was very difficult to live with growing up as a child, and the last name basically is Twigs
Mhm.
in another word. And so I thought, perfect. I'll just go with Twigs as my pup name, and it's stuck, and it's been that way now for a little over 2 years.
That's cool. Was it something different beforehand, or was it always just that?
Always Pup Twigs.
Okay, yeah. I guess I didn't. I guess I never really thought that. Yeah, you're in Orlando, and yes, it's always hot and humid, and to be in this all the time is
Well, and some people here can take it. I
yeah.
just don't want to have to deal with my whole head sweating the whole time that I have it on. So I go with this. And plus, it's much easier to drink a beer this way because the setup in the muzzle.
That's true. Um, I mentioned the last time is that I've got the short muzzle, and sometimes it's very, very difficult. So, like, sometimes I'll have to like unsnap the bottom ones
Unsnap
just
it.
to get this to move a little bit more. So I understand that, and then you get beer or whatever you're drinking like all of your muscle, and it's like oh.
Yes, yes.
So, what has been the easiest thing for you as a puppy? And then also on the flip side of that, what has been the most difficult thing for you being a puppy? So we'll start with the easiest first.
So the easiest for me, it's just been making friends. This has been, I mean, I've always been what they call a social butterfly. Anywhere I
Gotcha.
go,
Yep.
I can talk
Mhm.
to just about anybody.
Yep.
But this just makes it so much easier for me for whatever reason it might be. I don't know if it's just being kind of anonymous,
Yeah.
but I've never been a shy person at all. But this has just been so easy for me to go out and meet new pups, meet friends that along the way that are no longer, I mean, they're still my pup friends, but they're friends now. We do a lot outside of the puppy world as well.
That's good. Yeah.
And then for difficult, it's been the cost of this
Mhm.
because we all know that the stuff that we want, the harnesses and the collars and the hood,
Yes.
it's expensive.
Yes.
And so I just want it all, but of course I have to be what we call thrifty and just
Mhm.
buy it a few at a time. I have a wish list, and as I go through, it's like, well, I've got some money. Let's go back to the wish list and see what I can get. And that's how I've acquired it. Now I've got a pretty good stash of stuff, but there's still a lot. There's 16 different colors of these, and I've only got eight. So,
And you've got to have all 16, right? You
oh,
can't just live
I
with
have to have every one of them. Yes.
the Yeah, I always think that's very interesting, and especially there's some other people that I know and I talk to, and They're almost proponents of these programs of like let's get the gear for people, and if they want to try it out in an event or something, like they could put on something for 20 minutes or whatever and kind of test it out or see how it looks, and then that makes it a little bit more accessible to people who necessarily can't get out to a store or an event or something where it's like they have those kinds of things on display to actually try them on. So I always really like that idea as well.
And the group that I have down here that I'm a part of, the Hound Pound in
Mhm.
Florida, they do have a program for puppies that can't afford but
Yeah.
want the gear.
Hmm.
That we will get it to them. We have, I mean, if stuff that's donated to us, we make sure it's cleaned thoroughly
Right.
before we give it back out. But that way, pups can try it out before they spend that money, or they
Yeah.
can just keep the gear itself.
Yeah. That's cool. Um, and you said you're a social butterfly. Do you feel like being a puppy in that sense kind of just amplifies your ability to kind of socialize in those situations? Like, do you feel like you're kind of more or less like how you would be at, a cocktail party or something like that?
Oh,
But
I think being a puppy has enhanced it completely. It just kind of just turned it up to full volume.
that's great. That's really cool to hear.
And I mean, it's just been a blast for me. And my husband, Pup Smokey,
Hmm.
he is complete opposite. But being a puppy has helped him on that aspect too, where now he will go out and intermingle with puppies.
Hmm.
Unlike before, he would just stay in the background and he'd be the
Yeah,
flower on the wall.
yeah. And I know this is your interview, but I'm going to chime in and say
Oh,
that um, I've found for myself as well that just when I have Vesi on, it's very very easy for me in those sorts of situations to kind of just look at kind of what's going on in a very social way and kind of just being like, okay, I'm Vesi at this moment. We need to just be receptive to these sorts of things and be open to those sorts of things. And
hmm.
it usually turns out really, really well because it does kind of lower your anxiety level and it does kind of help
Yeah, it does.
just pull those more social things out because we are just
Yeah.
big bouncy dogs. So you said you've been in the pup community for 2 years.
About 2 years, a little over.
So if you could change one thing about the pup community, what do you think that would be in the 2 years that you've been in it?
Oh, and I think I almost talk about this just about every podcast is that I want more females and I want more trans to be a part of this because I
Okay.
know they're out there.
Yeah.
I just don't know if they're scared to come out and be a part of it.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and I've seen a few. I have a few here in the Hound Pound in Orlando where we do have some, but man, I would love to have more because everyone's welcome here
Uh-huh.
and give them an avenue to go out and just be able to do this kind of thing would be awesome.
Yeah. Um, that's always interesting to me to hear kind of statistics for things like the furry community and the puppy communities. It is predominantly male,
Yes.
but as far as just inclusivity and things like that, is people are generally very very receptive to people from all walks of life, and um, they just want us to have fun and all those sorts of things. But you're right. I don't necessarily see too many females participating, and I don't really see any sort of I don't see a very large sector, I guess, of anyone who is not just like predominantly gay men who are involved in the community.
Yeah.
Um, which I don't know if there's something to that or not, but that is always interesting to me. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's kind of cool because, a few podcasts back, I had a female that wanted to be a part of it. And she was local. So she actually came to my house
Oh,
and
nice.
find out she's a straight female
Uh-huh.
in a group here. It's called the Critter Club here in
Uh-huh.
Orlando.
Uh-huh.
And her boyfriend came along with her and sat on the couch while I interviewed her, which is awesome because he's been very supportive of her being a
Yeah,
part of this.
that's great.
And I thought, man, we just need many, many more of these.
Yeah, that had to be a really nice experience. I'll have
Yeah,
to
it
actually go and try and find them if I remember this is over. Um, so what advice would you give to someone who's wanting to get into puppy play?
Oh, don't rush into it.
Hmm.
I see a lot of puppies that just think as soon as they decide this is what they want to do, they go broke buying all the stuff. They're immediately looking for a handler.
Mm,
You got to find the right person to be your handler. You can't just reach out and grab anybody that's a handler.
mm,
And that's the advice I would give is just don't rush into it.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I tend to see that a lot myself, where people will say that having gear doesn't define you as a puppy. There's a lot of people who still believe that,
Yeah.
to where they want to like integrate themselves into the community. And again, whether that's cost or whatever, and just kind of integrate themselves a little bit slower than usual. But they do for whatever reason just feel this pressure to be like, okay, like I have to get a puppy hood, or like I have to get a harness, or I have to get like I have to have it all figured out like right away. And the second I jump into the community, like I need to have an alpha, or I need to have a handler, and
Right.
like I have to have all of this figured out. And it's just like, no, you don't.
And I don't have a handler and probably never will.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I'm happy the way, if you want to call me a stray, I'm a stray. I'm good.
yeah. And we talked about that a little bit myself, where it's just like I like those dynamics, but I'm just not in a place in my life where I feel like that really fits just what I'm trying to get out of this entire experience.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for people to know, is that kind of where you're at and kind of what you're really trying to get out of it kind of dictates what path you should be taking for that.
Mhm.
And definitely do not rush into it, because that's how feelings get hurt. That's how drama happens. That's how trauma happens, for sure. So I definitely agree, is that do not rush into something that you don't feel comfortable with, or something that you feel like you don't understand just because you have to do it for whatever reason.
Just take your time. It's not going anywhere.
Mm. So being a puppy, what brings you the most joy out of being a puppy, and what brings you the most joy out of puppy play itself?
The most joy for me is just the friendships have that have created for me. I guess basically, I don't know how else to say it, is I've met some amazing puppies, and we're always talking. We always look forward to seeing each other when we have an event. In fact, we had an event last night and I missed it, and it just broke my heart, but my husband forgot to ask for that night off. So he had to work, and I said, well, I'm not going without you. So I'll just stay in, and
That's
we'll
very
see,
sweet of you.
we'll see him at the end of the month.
That's very sweet of you.
But yeah, it's just that's what gives me the most joy, is looking forward to these monthly events that we have going on, just to be able to go out and meet other pups. And this is also our Pride Month. So
Oh, nice. Okay.
our Pride comes up October the 21st. So that weekend we'll be downtown Orlando for the big Pride parade, and they're having a puppy walkthrough of the festival. So we're all going to get together and walk together as puppies through the festival. So
That'll be fantastic.
it's going to be a blast.
And it's always kind of nice too, because again, I talked to you maybe 3-4 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And just within a month, it's kind of nice just to check in and see how things are going, and kind of just keep up with what's going on in your life, and kind of just hear what's new. And yeah, there's tons of puppies that I know they're leading like way more interesting lives than I ever thought that I could lead. And it's always fun to hear what's going on.
Well, yeah, we just got back from the Florida puppy competition at our gay campground here at Sawmill 3 weeks ago. That was also a fun weekend, and we've already booked our weekend there in March for the puppy weekend as well. So
that sounds great. It's going to be a blast. And being a puppy, do you have any favorite toys? Do you have any favorite things that you like to play with? Do you have any favorite activities that you like to do as a puppy? Any sort of toys, chew toys?
I don't have any toys at this point. Doesn't mean I won't get one, but right now I don't. I'm just, what you see is what I have, and that's about it at this point.
And I know some people, they kind of think it's a little bit silly or goofy or whatever, but it is it is fun. It
Oh
is fun to
no,
just
I
kind of get
agree.
something and like toss around a little bit, and
Yes,
it's a way to kind of just unwind a little bit. But I
I've, re-
understand.
I've really been wanting to get one of those neoprene bones.
Yeah,
I see all these pups balancing them right here on their snout and everything. And I thought,
I've
maybe I,
got one. If I had it here, I would go. I would go into it. As I've got it, it's out in the other room, but I would go get it because yeah, I got one of those, and they're great. They're just kind of fun to play with, and plus, like when I sit here and for work and stuff like that, I'm usually like chewing on a straw or a pen or something like that. So it's just like it seems natural for me. In being a puppy, then what do you feel has it done for your mental health? Because I know that's a big factor for a lot of people, myself included, that being involved in puppy play and being involved in the pup community has done a lot for mental health. So what has it done for you?
I think what it does is it just gives you an avenue of something to look forward to.
Mm,
And for me, just like I said, I always look forward to our weekends when we have an event going on, which happens the last Saturday of every month. Um, and that just keeps me going. I mean, years ago, I mean, I haven't had the depression in years. I
mhm.
had it when I was a lot younger, and that seems to have gone away, no longer on medication for it.
That's great.
But it just gives me something to really look forward to each month. Um, to go out and get to hang out with my puppy friends and talk about their life and my life and what they got going on in their lives now, and it's just done wonders. It really
Hmm.
has.
Hmm. Yeah, that's great. I can't really say that I've heard too many other people who've kind of had that experience, which I think is a little bit interesting that it's kind of been able to um, almost heal that for you in a way to
Yeah, it
where
really has. I mean, I had it bad. I mean, years ago I actually
mm,
had to take 3 months off of work.
wow.
It was that bad. Never
Mm,
to the point where I thought about, suicide or anything like that, but I was
right.
just so depressed, I didn't want to function.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
but I'm so glad I got that under control and no longer have to take medication for it or anything. So,
Mm, that's great. I'm really glad to hear that. So what is one thing that you wish you knew before you became a puppy?
hmm. I know the one thing that comes to mind is just, the typical thing is the cost of everything. But also, some things I wish I'd have known is how much drama is in the puppy community.
Mm,
Because there's still, I mean, this does wonders for our mental wellness,
hmm. Hmm.
but
Yeah,
why is there still
and
so much drama in there?
we talked about this a little bit too
Yeah,
when you interviewed me and the situation with the alpha and that other puppy. Um, yeah, I definitely
I
agree.
just don't quite understand it. But you know what? I try to stay away from that portion of it
Hmm.
because I hate drama, and
Hmm.
it it just not something that I want in my life.
Hmm. And I feel like I mean that seems like a very human problem, not to kind of pull that card of like, okay, when
Oh
you're a
yeah,
puppy, you should probably separate whatever's going on in your human life versus that. It's and I really do like that aspect where it's like whatever drama, whatever issues are happening in your day to day human life probably should not bleed over into your puppy life. But
yeah.
I mean, we all are still people underneath here,
It's
and
it happens.
unfortunately, people have a lot of issues with each other.
Yes, they do.
But yeah, I noticed that a lot in the puppy community as well, and I would hope again that just being us and trying to just be in a different place and just trying to forget just a little bit for a little bit would kind of enforce that a little bit more, but sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah,
So
you're right. You're exactly right.
um when you're not being a puppy, what kind of hobbies do you have?
Oh, I've got many. I've got three cats, so they keep me busy.
Aw.
But besides my cats, I love to travel. Haven't got to do a lot of it here, but In my younger life, I've got to travel pretty much all over the world. Been to China and Hong Kong, been to Brazil and Argentina, Indonesia, of course, Canada, Mexico, and Puerto Rico, and
Mm-hmm.
Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And my bucket list is going to Dubai, which I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I'll ever make it there, but that's on my bucket list because that city just fascinates me.
Yeah, same with me. Every single time I see it, I'm just like, there's a place that exists that is like this, and it's just like it's almost like out of this world to me. It's crazy.
Yeah, to think it was just desert not too long ago, and now it's
Yeah,
just a huge city.
yeah. It seems really, really interesting to me.
Yeah. So travel and of course my animals keep me busy, and of course my husband too. So
I'm gonna throw you a curveball here
okay,
because your next question is, do you have any pets? And you already answered that. So I'm gonna ask you a question about your travel.
okay,
Is
sure.
that if money were not an option and if time were not an option, and if you can go like right this instant, where would you go?
Sydney, Australia.
Okay.
And
Anything
don't
that you
really
would love to see there? It's just you've never been to Australia, and it seems like a
no,
great trip.
and
Or
Australia's another kind of bucket list. I know we were talking about Dubai, but you
yeah,
threw me that one. I'm going to throw a curveball back, and I'm going to say somewhere else because those are the two places I would love to go.
yeah. I will say, you know what, that is actually one of the places I would love to go as well, because there's, for whatever reason, there's a very large community of puppies that I know that are in Australia, and so it's just like, it seems if I took the time just to travel there once and took some time and just kind of went everywhere, I'd be able to just make like a nice circuit of all these people that I've been able to meet, and they're Australia seems great.
Well, yeah,
I
and
would.
plus the Australian accent is kind of sexy. So,
You know what? I do not disagree.
okay. Oh,
um. So in you mentioned that you're a stray, so maybe this question is a little bit irrelevant. But do you identify as a beta, omega, alpha? Do you have a title for yourself other than stray?
if I had to give myself a title out of those, I would probably say a beta.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the closest to what I am. Sometimes I just want to sit back and let somebody take the reins, and then sometimes I might want to lead for a little bit. But yeah,
Hmm.
beta would be it for me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Um, we've kind of just been talking a little bit on and off about different things that have been going on or things that are upcoming. Um, so again, this question may be treading over some territory again that we've already discussed. But do you have any puppy events going on in your location? If so, what are they? Tell us a little bit about them.
Sure, we call it barking out back, and it's well, it's club bar area that we go to, Savoy here in Orlando.
Hmm.
They have a get together. They have a patio, and we all get together there. And that usually starts at 4 in the afternoon and goes until about 8 at night. But then all the puppies, because we have such a close knit with the leather community,
Hmm.
another bar has leather night the same night. So we all leave Savoy and go to Barco.
They keep the party going. I
They
like
keep it going until they
that.
close for their leather night.
That's cool.
And that
Yeah.
happens the last Saturday of every month. And then the Barcodes actually sponsors a puppy event, which I believe is the second Saturday of every month
Hmm.
for just the puppies.
Gotcha.
And
I
then
it,
our gay campground, Sawmill in Dade City, outside of
mhm.
Orlando, does a once a year a puppy weekend that comes up in March of next year.
I I have to chuckle a little bit because a event that runs from 4 in the afternoon till 8 o'clock at night sounds like awesome. Because the very few events I've been to, I was like, oh, it starts at 9:30 at night, and it's just like, really, does it have to be?
Yeah, but the bad thing is for me is if I get there at 4 and start drinking,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
usually ready to go home by 10 o'clock, and
You're
that's
ready for a little cat nap at about
I hate that.
7:30.
So we usually don't get there till about 6:30, and we're there for an hour and a half so we can spend more time at Leatherneck. So
Mm. That is a really neat idea though, that some other organization is just like, you know what, like we'll just keep rolling a little bit and they just
yeah.
kind of move you down the road or whatever it is. Um so your next question is going to be, if you have a question that you would want to ask the next guest of your podcast, this is not my podcast, remember? If you wanted to ask your next guest a specific question about anything in the puppy community, what would you want to ask them?
Yeah, what I would want to ask them is what is their favorite piece of gear that they own when they wear out being a puppy?
Hmm. Okay. Okay. That's a very good question.
Yeah, because
Um,
I know I searched high and low. I talked to everyone I could think of. I wanted a harness that was LED,
mhm.
and no one could seem to find one. Then all of a sudden, one of the I don't remember if it was Breedwell
Yeah.
or I think it was Breedwell that came out with. Man, I ordered that thing the first time I saw it. And
I've had a couple of people show me those, and the way that it kind of all like hooks up and has to charge and stuff seems really bizarre, and like it's got the little boxes, and I'm like, wouldn't that be uncomfortable? But then like you see it out, and it's just like, you know what? It doesn't matter. It looks way too
yeah,
cool.
I mean, you got the two battery packs back here on
Yeah.
your shoulders, and then you got two on your lower back.
Yeah.
But even when I'm leaning up against, because I usually if I take an Uber and I'm
Hmm.
leaning in their car, and I think, no, you don't even feel the battery
Yeah.
packs at all.
Yeah.
And so I've got an LED harness, an LED collar,
Hmm.
LED shoes, and I even have an actual LED hat, but I don't like the way it looks on me, so I don't wear it
Mm.
very often.
Gotcha.
But yeah, those that's my favorite piece of attire is my harness because I looked so hard trying to find that, and finally they came out with one.
Mm. The LED shoes, I can't remember what the names of them are. I mentioned in my podcast that I was a '90s kid, and I always see the little kids who have the shoes that they have the blinky things in the bottom,
Yeah.
and I forget I can't remember what they're called for the life of me right now.
Well,
But I always love those, and I'll see a kid walking around with those, and I'm just like, oh, I want those shoes again.
and I didn't know what they were called, so I thought, well, let me just go to the god of websites and went to Amazon and just typed in LED shoes, and guess what?
Mm.
I found the ones I wanted because we also go to the Electric Daisy Carnival here in Orlando in November when they have it.
Mm.
And so that's the chance I get to wear all my LED gear, and my pup mask is when we go out there for that. So
That's great. Part of uh I've been to very few events, but I think one of my favorite things of going out to events actually was just being there with other pups and seeing what sort of stuff that they have.
yes.
Just because I'm so used to like the stuff that I have, and it's like, yeah, maybe across the board, like it's a little bit standard of just like people will order stuff from like Mr. S, so you kind of see the same stuff every
Mhm.
every so often, but it's always cool to just see like what different configurations people have, or like um sometimes you'll just see like a something someone's wearing, and maybe it's got like a bunch of glitter, a bunch of sequins, or
Yeah.
something. Just like, oh, that's really cool. Like half the fun of the event was just kind of walking around and being like, what are you wearing? That looks awesome.
Well, and to see all of these pups that are so talented
Yeah.
and are making all this stuff. I've got a
Hmm.
one of my pup friends. Well, I've known him for a very long time, even before we were pups. But he worked at oh, what's the place called where you go in and simulate parachuting? I can't remember the name of it, but he's big into parachuting. I said I'm not jumping out of a perfectly good plane, but um, he
I
has
know I
made
know the kind of place that you're talking about, where they got like the big wind tunnel or
yeah,
whatever, and
that's
I
where he
I
worked. There's
can't. There's a word for it, but I can't think of it either.
he doesn't
So.
work there anymore, but he uses the twine that parachutes are attached to you by,
Mhm.
and he makes collars and leashes with those and weaves them. It is out of this world, and I'm going to get one day. I just haven't done it yet, but they are. You just pick your colors, and he will make you one out of them.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it really is. He's amazing.
And maybe after we're done here, you might have to send me that info because I would love to go as well.
I will see if I can find some photos and send them to you.
Yeah, that sounds great. Um, so your question from the previous puppy that you interviewed comes from a pup raiser. He's out of Wisconsin, and his question for you is, what is your comfort food? So something that brings you either immense joy from eating it, something that's seasonal, maybe something when you're feeling sick, anything like that. What is your comfort food?
Oh, it's got to be pepperoni pizza.
Oh, that's a great choice.
I mean, it's good hot, it's good cold. I mean, there's many a nights where before we go out, I'll go out and buy a couple of pepperoni pizzas, throw them in the fridge, and when we get home, we just devour them.
Or it's been on the counter all night long, but you know what? You got to eat something in the morning.
It's great for breakfast.
Is there any particular place that you like to get it from, or is it just like, is it the trashier the better? Or
No, I mean, we've got a place here called Marco's. I love their pepperoni magnifico, which is just so good. But then I also like the pretzel crust pizza from Little Caesars. I mean, that's your trash pizza right there. But
what was it? The grab and go $5 or whatever from Little Caesars.
Yeah, exactly.
They went away for a while, and you know what? I've seen more and more of them come back. So I don't know. Maybe there's something to that. But it's fun. It's so funny you mentioned Marco's. I've actually got a Marco's pizza right across the street.
Oh yeah,
and it's like more
Marco's
than
is our go-to.
It's like once a week. I'm usually over across the street at Marco's, so it's like I might. I've actually never had the pepperoni magnifico, so I might have to.
Well,
try
now they
it.
have pepperoni and sausage together magnifico, and that's even good as well.
That sounds really good. Pizza's just always good.
Now I'm
sorry.
hungry.
His pizza's just always good. So that's a really good answer. I totally agree. We're coming up to the end here. So if other pups wanted to find you, contact you, talk to you, maybe get in touch with you right here, right in the spot that I'm in right now. What are your social media tags? How can people find you?
All right, are you ready for these?
Yes, I'm ready.
Of course, I have so many of them. I had to pull it up on my phone so I could do it. So my Instagram is at Pup Twigz. My Telegram is at Pup_Twigz. My TikTok is at Pup Twigz. Of course, my YouTube at Pup Twigz. I do have a Facebook that's Unleashed, a look into the pup community, which is tied around this podcast. Threads, Pup Twigz, and I guess that's about it.
You're not on the Blue Sky train yet, like everyone else.
I want to be, but I understand you have to be invited, and no one has invited me yet. So
we'll talk. I got invite codes. I can hook you up.
Because I think I even set up my profile. I just can't do anything because, So that's where we are.
It's funny that invite codes are almost just like, I don't know, like valued currency. It's almost like gold at this point. It's like, you got an invite code? You got an invite code for Blue Sky? Like, yeah, I'll hook you up.
I'll hook you up, yeah. I don't know why. I mean, the whole thing is you want people to be on it, right?
Yeah. So, and I know we very, very, very briefly said it's just like Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. It's just like, it seems like it's just going down the tubes, and that seems where most people are moving. So,
and I'm on Twitter as well, or X, but it's not a puppy Twitter. So,
okay, yeah, that's fair. So that brings us to the end of our little Turnabout interview. Is there anything else that you want to say? Anything else you want to talk to me about? Anything else that you want to cover that we didn't cover?
I just say this has been a blast. I mean, I didn't realize how much fun a turnaround would have, but I guess that just means we all like talking about ourselves.
I mean, it's always fun to just sit and chat and to hear about other people regardless.
Yeah, I agree.
So.
No, I just keep doing whatever your puppy out there is doing. Enjoy yourself, have fun,
Mhm.
uh, and keep those tails wagging.
I totally agree. So, thanks for taking the time to do this. This has been fun.
Oh, me too. It's been a blast.
And like I said, if you ever want me to come back, or if you ever want to try and get rid of me,
You're,
you might see me again.
you're welcome back anytime, anytime.
All right. Well, again, this is Pup Vesi, interviewing Pup Twigz for his own little podcast. It was a ton of fun, and we will go ahead and we'll see you in the next episode, puppies. Again,
All right.
keep those tails wagging.
Yes.
Arf.